Well, this is unexpected. Suddenly, Twitter turns on the woke critics of Rotten Tomatoes, exposing the site for the sham it is. Now, we've talked about it many times here on this channel, but it's interesting to see Twitter pick up on that and say, wait a minute. I noticed that Rotten Tomatoes was trending, and some of the posts are very interesting. You can see this individual here who is a TV editor and works at Digital Spy. So critics are turning against Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes isn't the be-all end-all by any means, but it does blow my mind that a flawed but interesting film like The Eternals can end up being rated so much lower than early Marvel misfires like The Incredible Hulk and Thor Dark World, showing Thor Dark World at 66 versus Eternals at 48 with basically the same number of reviewers. I wonder if these reviewers were all lords and ladies. Did you know you can become an official lord or lady? Check out this video sponsor. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Established Titles. Now, this may be the most interesting sponsorship I've had yet. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lords and ladies. The Established Title Pack gives you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Scotland and an official certificate with a crest. It looks absolutely sick. Lord Jeremy from The Quartering, my official proclamation. Also remember that they have a charity partner, Trees for the Future and One Tree Planted. They plant a tree for every single order, which is absolutely awesome. So you can get this sweet gift for someone or yourself. You can get a certificate proving your title as well as a unique plot number with which you can see the exact location of your land. Established Titles might be one of the best last-minute gifts ever. You could get even a couple pack for you and your partner, where you get adjoining plots of land. Getting this certificate also helps you officially change your name to Lord or Lady and get it on a credit card or some other, whatever else you want, apparently. For those with Scottish heritage, it's also a great way to connect with family. Established Titles is having a great limited time sale, so go to establishedtitles.com/thequartering to save 10% off today. And remember to use the discount code thequartering, or just click the link below. That's establishedtitles.com/thequartering. Hey, just saying, it's an interesting gift. Fun little thing to do to someone you enjoy their company, or maybe even for yourself. Plus, it supports the channel, so check them out. Kevin McCarthy writing, as of 49%, this is another film lover, okay? As of now, 49% of critics gave the film a fresh rating. 83% of the audience verified reviews gave it a fresh rating. Always find this divide interesting. I love how we all watch films differently. Now, what's interesting to me is, it doesn't always have this divide. If you look at, for example, Shang-Chi, that was one that was in the high or mid 90s for both critics and viewers, fans. What I find particularly interesting, the curious case of the Eternals, essentially, is how this one seemed like it hit all the things that would normally get high marks from critics and it's still got a low score. You can see the Eternals will probably be bad since it has a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes. You hate The Last Jedi and it has a 91%. That's true. I mean, we see this, which is, I want to break it down in a specific video on Monday because this is ridiculous. The Eternals has the lowest Rotten Tomato scores NCU of any MCU film. I think this speaks to a larger problem. Anytime a woman takes on the action genre, people come harder at that filmmaker. Prove it. I want to return to a simpler time where I don't know who's directing a film unless I have to go look, right? I want an actual go back to the era of like not knowing who the director is. It would be great if the media would stop saying, this is the first woman to ever direct a film. This is the first woman with only 9 fingers to direct the film. This is the first POC woman to ever direct a film. This is the first POC woman with an afro to direct a film. None of this shit matters. None of that matters. And the people that care about that don't actually care about watching good movies, right? You can see Grace Randolph saying, ouch. Eternals, fascinatingly, is the same audience score as Batman versus Superman. Now, this is referring to the cinema score, which is a more accurate review. Cinema score is the most accurate audience score because fans can't influence it. It's done right out of the theater with actual people. And you can see here, we're at theaters tonight, poll the Eternals, and moviegoers gave it a B grade. There's nothing wrong with a B. That's a 3.0, baby. That's that's a honor roll. But you can see a cinema score B is a terrible grade for an MCU movie or any blockbuster. That's interesting to me. When you look at Thor: Dark World, it got an A. Joker got a B+. Joker made $1 billion. So, ultimately, it's very interesting to see just how all this stuff shakes out. I mean, people are raging on Twitter about it. It's like, these are the same people that say it doesn't matter. These are also the same people, who say, well, it got a great score on Rotten Tomatoes. Again, you could already see the damage control, which is insane to me. It's not like it's a terrible movie. It's just not great. Right now, The Eternals, directed by Chloe Zhao, has the distinction of being the first rotten film in the MCU site Rotten Tomatoes, which is leading to speculation as to why. Both are good and bad. There are both good and aspects to that, good and bad. Why? And of course, they're saying, in many ways, the divisive response does not surprise me. Not because of the cast, which is full of BIPOC actors, which is I don't even know anymore. Nor because it features the first gay superhero, with it being a blink and you miss it diversity, or without it being that, but because Marvel's Phase 4 era is going to be a lot weirder and less mainstream. Overall, the reviews from critics have said that the film is ambitious and interesting, but it didn't deliver, right? I mean, this is what we've been saying for weeks, right? Like, this movie is really bizarre. And the media is desperately reaching for some possible thing to blame it on. IGN writing, with the theatrical release of The Eternals finally here, let's look at how its current Rotten Tomato score of 48, the MCU's first Rotten score, compares to the other 29 films. It's like the fact that it's performing poorly. This is a reminder not to trust what Rotten Tomatoes says when they bring up that dancing film. I think anytime you aggregate reviews, it can be helpful. Except I don't believe that Rotten Tomatoes actually does that. I think that they manipulate the score. I am convinced of that fact. The fact that right now I can only see, 2,500 reviews. I mean, it's been all day and this number's been at 2,500. You mean to tell me that there hasn't been thousands of reviews? I think this is going to drop in the 70s by the time they pump out the reviews, but I think they're purposely slow rolling these to protect Disney, and that's why I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. The real score is probably slightly higher than IMDb. Why do I say it's slightly higher? Because IMDb has like a 6.8 or a 6.9, but IMDb doesn't have a verified audience score. I like verified audience scores. I only want to see reviews from people who saw the movie, but I also want to see all the reviews from people that saw the movie. I don't want Rotten Tomatoes slow rolling these, which is exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. And a lot of these 5-star reviews are completely fanboyed. Like, they're just like, oh, they're so amazing. It's the best thing I've ever seen. 5 out of 5. Like, no. If we look at all audience, we see a lot more 4, 3, and 4 star reviews. They don't aggregate this, or for whatever reason, I can't see it. You know, it's really weird. It's putting Rotten Tomatoes under the microscope. Oh, here, all audience, 83. So it's still, I guess, you know, all audience still at 83, 4.1 out of 5. I still think it stops, you know, it's in the mid to high 70s is where it ends, which is where it's going to be. But it's like people are seeing the movie out of spite, which, I mean, that is an effective marketing tactic. Like, critics turning on Rotten Tomatoes was not what I saw coming today, which is interesting. What do you think? I know more of you have seen it. I've given, in my first video today, like my unofficial synopsis. The movie is fine. For me, it's like a 6 out of 10. One of the worst Marvel movies, but as a movie standalone popcorn muncher, it's fine. It's fine. It's no, you know, it's fine. There's nothing like, you know, I don't think that they should have hookup scenes in Marvel movies, but maybe that's just me being a boomer. So I'm not going to like mark it down for that. But like, it's funny how the woke brigade suddenly, like the wokies are finally turning against the critics because they didn't give this film the pass that they've been giving everything else. That's what I think this is actually all about. Interesting to see what you say in the comment section down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.